Morning.
No, podcasts don't get much bigger than my next guests. Elizabeth Day's How to Feel has had 50 million downloads, with everyone from Dawn French to Mel B, Claudia Winkleman and Gillian Anderson celebrating life's mishaps. And today's she's back producing a new how-to podcast series, starting with how to write a book, led by industry experts. And Elizabeth joins us now. What an absolute delight to finally meet you.
It's so lovely to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here. Does it feel odd not asking the questions?
It does a bit. I'm outside my comfort zone, but you make it very easy. And the lovely thing is I haven't had to do any research for this.
Exactly.
That's your job.
Relax. You just tell me what you know. Exactly that. I mean, you're talking about the podcast there, Elizabeth, and it's been extraordinarily successful. Like, what were your goals when you started out with it?
That's such a great question, because I don't think I really knew. My goal was to do the kind of interview that I knew I found most interesting, which is where I ask guests to show up as themselves and where we forge these moments of connection through vulnerability, through what we learned from the things that went wrong, rather than promoting all of our great successes and having that image of curated perfection on Instagram or on photos that we see in the media. So I really wanted just to get to the human behind the headlines. And that was really my only goal. So the fact that it's become as successful as it has, it's quite ironic that something that's called How to Fail has become one of the most successful things I've ever done.
Exactly.
But I'm incredibly grateful, and I wanted to be able to pay that back because podcasting has given me so much.
Well, exactly, and that's what you're intending to do with this new series, How to Podcast. And your first one is, it's how to write a book. And you've got the best people on board with you, and you're really taking people through the process.
Exactly that. So I firmly believe that everyone has a story to tell, and maybe they just need a little bit of help getting their story out there. So if you're watching this right now and you have a dream of writing a book, it doesn't need to be a dream. We can make it happen. How to Write a Book is 12 weeks. It's fronted, as you say, by 3 absolute powerhouses in publishing. There's a senior publisher, Charmaine Lovegrove, a super agent, Nell Andrew, and a best-selling author, Sarah Collins. So every aspect of the books industry is covered. And they will talk you through how to develop ideas, how to craft compelling characters and plots and dialogue, right through to how to get an agent and how to get your manuscript out there. Of
course. You see, that's incredible. And it's not just that. You're going to be doing... The book one is one series, but it's How to Be Funny. It's going to become How to Date.
How to Date is the second one.
How many weeks does that run?
That could go on forever and ever, couldn't it? Yes, I've got some anecdotes to tell on how to date, I tell you that, because I found myself single in my late 30s, and I'm basically creating the kind of things that I wish had been around when I was going through them. So as a novelist myself, I would have loved to have listened to How to Write a Book when it came to writing my first one, because so many masterclasses traditionally can be really expensive or residential. So they cost a lot of money and you need to take time out of your life. Whereas the idea behind the pod class is that it fits into your life and not the other way around.
You can dip in and out when you need to. And like you say, it's free. They can be very expensive, these sorts of things. So it works for you in your time, which is why it's going to be so successful. But like I say, the podcast, you've just got this, you've found your niche, Elizabeth, and it's a very heavy populated area. It's a very heavy populated space, but you've navigated your way around it. Like, what is the magic to it now? What is it with the podcast in terms of celebrity guests? I mean, really, the list of people that haven't been on it's probably much less than those that have.
Well, you know who hasn't been on it? Christine Lampard. We'll have to rectify that.
Nothing to say.
That's so sweet of you to say. I mean, I'm a big believer in following your passions and your instincts. And really, for me, the coherence behind everything I do is a desire to connect. I'm the kind of person, if you sit next to me at a coffee shop or at a dinner party, I will want to know everything about your childhood. Like, tell me your deepest fears. Like, that's what makes me interested. And I think...
because you spent time in Northern Ireland, that's why, when you grew up. We're a bit like that naturally.
We are.
So we've filtered into your DNA a little bit. We're going to own that part of you.
Exactly. And it's what I love about talking to you, because you make it so easy and we get to the good stuff really quickly. And I suppose it's about making people feel less alone. We all wander around this planet thinking that we're the only ones with the specific dream to write a book, or we're the only ones who have failed, or we're the only ones who feel like imposters. And we're not. Actually, the vast majority of other people have had the same feelings, and really I'm passionate about breaking down those kind of barriers. And the other thing I'm passionate about, which I know that you believe in, is elevating female and diverse voices, particularly in podcasting, because the top of the UK charts are still dominated by white middle-aged men. And that's no shade to white middle-aged men, because I'm married to one and he's great. But they're not the only voices we should hear from.
Yeah, of course. Getting the voices out there, which you're going to be doing again on tour, of course. Would you have a wish list of guests for the tour and indeed for the podcast, but you still have a list of guests that you'd still love to get the hold of?
I absolutely do. Other than Christine Lampard, I would like to manifest Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Even though they're so big now, they don't need to give any interviews.
Yeah.
But I love them both for different reasons. And I also love this woman because of everything that she represents and has done. So Michelle Obama, I'd also like to ask her arm routine. And finally, because I'm super passionate about women in their 40s and beyond showing that age is really empowering, Sienna Miller.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She's having such a Sienna-sance, if I can say that.
That's a great way of putting it, a great way. Because politicians are the tricky ones. They don't want to come anywhere near it, do they?
Now, there are some politicians.
Some have.
Yes, some have. So Ed Miliband, Jess Phillips, Chris Patton, they've all been great guests. Some politicians have said no because they don't want to do something with fail in the title.
Oh, dear.
I know, because
they don't get it.
They don't get it. That actually what I'm saying is learning how to fail is learning how to succeed better.
Absolutely, and accepting how you can change because of what you learn through failure and become a success. Anyway.
Exactly.
They'll understand
You
that
get it.
today. Yeah, absolutely, I do. And it's an absolute joy to have you on. Best of luck with everything, the tour, the podcast, everything else. It's lovely to see you. We'll talk again. We'll talk again. Elizabeth's new podcast, How to Write a Book, is out today.